Hello again everyone, welcome back to ptet.chemistry channel. So in these continuations of the lecture tutorial series for the 5129 combined science O level curriculum. So I'm just covering the chemistry bit. This is basically a concept on reacting masses. So the concept of reacting masses will be dealing with MR calculations for compounds, and we'll be comparing this with AR, which is relative atomic mass, both of which were covered in the previous lecture tutorial, part 1 and part 2 of this topic called reacting masses. So these are very popular exam questions. You can expect at least one question which is worth 3 to 4 marks in every single combined science 5129 curriculum. So let's get started and let me show you what it means. So back then, towards the end of the previous topic, you have done something called balancing equations. You know that when they show you an equation, it's balanced, or if it is not, you have to balance it before you can do calculation. One calcium, give you one calcium. There is 2 water molecules. So 2 in front means the number of molecules. The 2 at the bottom refers to the element before it. So there is 2 hydrogen there, and there is 1 oxygen, but there are 2 water molecules. So it's like there's H2O and H2O, meaning to say there is 4 hydrogen altogether, and there is 2 times oxygen. Or you can imagine 2 times 2 is 4, 2 times 1 is 2, and I'm just showing you like this to represent that there are 2 water molecules. And of course, the formula of water, H2O, cannot be changed because of structure and bonding. As you know, dot and cross diagram, this is not dot and cross. If I draw dot and cross, each line would be 1 cross and 1 dot, and here this will be 1 cross and 1 dot. So this represents single covalent bond and single covalent bond. So in a bracket like this was because of the formula, the crisscross method that led up to work 1. So that is calcium ions. Calcium ions come from group 2 metal. They lose 2 electrons to get to a fully filled outer shell. So this is what you call the valency. Valency is just a number following the charge on the cations as well as the anions. This is called hydroxide anion. Very important. You should know the name. Hydroxide ion, meaning it's OH with a -1 overall. So the valency is just 1. So when you do crisscross, because we want to find out how many of the ions we actually have, we have 1 that goes there and 2 that goes there. So that means calcium 2 plus, OH minus, and there's the meaning of the bracket. There is 2 of these OH minus. Overall, you get 1 calcium, you get 2 oxygens and 2 hydrogens. That's why you had to learn in the previous work 4 that was related to MR calculations. You have to know how to count the atoms in order to balance the equation, in order to work things like molecular mass, which is the MR later on. This is just a hydrogen molecule, which is a diatomic molecule. As you know, hydrogen exists as a diatomic because they want to fulfill the outer shell. They want to fill up to the 2 electrons, because the first shell only accommodates or only allows up to 2 electrons maximum. So altogether, there are 4 hydrogens. There is 2 hydrogen there plus 2 hydrogens. So altogether, there are 4 hydrogen on the right to balance the 4 hydrogen on the left. There is 2 oxygens. There is 2 oxygens. This is calcium. This is water. This is calcium hydroxide, the way we combine the formula, the crisscross method. And this is hydrogen gas. Whenever someone says hydrogen, they don't mean the hydrogen atom, because there's unstable. As you had done something called covalent bonding between nonmetal and nonmetal, they share electrons to fill up their outer shell. So this equation is balanced as it is. The AR, which is relative atomic masses, is as shown in the periodic table, but typically in exams, sometimes they give you this information already, so we just use the AR as given in the question. Calculate the relative molecular mass of calcium hydroxide, which is basically the calcium OH twice. So there is 1 calcium, there is 2 oxygen, and there is 2 hydrogens. So I will write down 1 calcium, 2 times hydrogen, and 2 times oxygen. So what I do then is I have to sum up the mass. So 1 times 40, the mass of calcium, plus 2 times 16, the mass of the oxygen. For one oxygen is 16, but I have 2 oxygens in the formula, and I also have 2 hydrogens, so 2 times 1. I can also do 1 times 2, it's the same thing. Now press your calculator correctly. Make sure you know how to use bracket and stuff. So I get 74 altogether. You can also do it another method. You can compare the thing inside the bracket. So you can do it like 40 times 1, which is for the 1 calcium. And then you have 2 of everything in the bracket. 2 of everything in the bracket. So 2 times everything in the bracket. Inside the bracket, I've got 16 times 1. I've got 1 times 1 because I've got 1 oxygen and I've got 1 hydrogen. So I could also do this. If you press your calculator, that 40 times 1 plus 2 times bracket, 16 plus 1, close bracket, you will get 74 as well. So it is the exact same answer, whether you do this way or this way. This way is just showing exactly how many atoms there are. In fact, I like this way better, but you can also do it this way. If mathematics, there are more than one way of doing things, and you should be fine. With regards to the important bit in this particular lesson, it's basically about this kind of questions. They look like they are filling the blank. This is basically something you do call cross multiply. Okay, this is cross multiply calculations. So this is a proportion or a ratio kind of method. Now we look from the equation and also the question itself. It says 40 grams of calcium. You want the water information and you want the hydrogen information. If you look at the balance equation, I'll show you what I mean in a little bit. What is the purpose? What is the reason of us calculating MR? There is a purpose, and this is called reacting mass. Now there is 1 mole there. There is 1 in front there. There is 2 in front there. There is 1 in front and there's 1 in front. If there's no number in front, it means there's 1 of it. If there's a number in front, it means there are 2 of it. MR. Careful with this MR thing. This is for 1 unit. So whenever we calculate MR, it represents 1 unit. For example, for calcium, it's just 40 because, well, there's only 1 calcium there. So water, if we are looking at MR, we are looking at just this for the MR, because MR is for 1 formula unit. So if you just do the calculation, you will get 2 times 1 plus 16 times 1, you will get 18. And for the calcium hydroxide, we already did the maths, so that's just 74. And for hydrogen, it's just 1 and times 2, or basically 1 plus 1 give you 2. Now this topic is called reacting masses, because based on the balancing equations, this is the most important thing, the reacting masses. So this thing you don't have to write it down, but you got to know reacting mass. 1 of these means 1 times 40, because there is only 1 of it, each of which is 40. There is 2 of it, each of which is 18. MR is for 1 unit, but you have 2 units. So 1 unit is 18, so 2 units, there's 2 times 18, which is 36. These are masses, so these are 40 grams, and this is 36 grams, and then I have 1 unit of that, so there is 74 grams, and I have 1 formula unit of H2, so there is just 2 grams there. You will have noticed that on the left hand side, I have 40 and 36 grams, so altogether I have 40 plus 36, which is 76 grams. And on the right hand side, 74 plus 2 give me 76 grams. In science, in chemistry, we do not create matter, we do not destroy matter. Matter refers to solid, liquid, and gas. They simply get converted from one form to another form, because we are not doing sorcery, we are not doing magic, we are doing chemistry, where matter is not created nor destroyed. They simply undergo a chemical reaction and they turn from one form of matter to another different forms of matter, but the mass is conserved. Okay, so they get distributed and form something else, they combine together, they form something else, but the total mass on the left equal to total mass on the right. That's why we have to balance equations. That was part of your work 3 in the last topic as part of balancing equations. Alright, now onto the most important bit of the calculation. They say 40 grams of calcium reacts with how many grams of water? These are called reacting masses. So when I could see there's 40 grams, if there's 40 grams, 36 gram of water, 36 gram of water, so there's 36 gram of water, reacts with 40 gram of calcium. How many gram of hydrogen do you get? You get 2 gram. So there is your calculation there, okay? Now, onto the next bit of the questions. This is the one that require a little bit of cross multiplication. So what can we do here? 2 grams of calcium. 40 gram of calcium give you 2 gram, 40 gram of calcium reacts with 36 gram of water. Okay, so in order to deal with the next part of the question, so you really have to think about calcium and water. Okay, so you have 40 gram of calcium and 36 gram of water. 40 gram of calcium reacts with 36 gram of water. How about when you have 2 gram of calcium? When you have 2 gram of calcium, how many gram of water is required to react? So this is calcium, and this is from the balance equation. This is from the balance equation. So this is just what you are thinking in your head, but this is in reality. So this is what you want to find now. If you have 2 gram, then what is going to be X? X is going to be the mass of the water that is required to react with 2 gram of calcium. This is where you do cross multiply. Cross multiply means this and the other side diagonal, so cross, so 40 times X. I don't need to put in the gram because everything is in gram. Gram is just the unit. G is gram, and there's just the unit. So I don't need to include G in my calculations. So 40 is just a number, X is just a number, so 40 times X. And this is equal to, if I do another cross multiply, the other side, the cross multiply side, so there's 2 times 36. You can also do 36 times 2 is the same thing. 2 times 36 or 36 times 2 is the same thing. Now this is 40 times X. How do you find X? X is equal to, I better use a different color just to avoid confusing you. So X is equal to 2 times 36 over 40. And you press that onto your calculator and you should get 1.8 gram. So we are saying that 2 gram of calcium will react with 1.8 gram of water. So 2 gram of calcium will react with 1.8 gram of water. So I hope that makes sense there. And I think we should just leave it there for this tutorial video. And yeah, I'll show you how to do the rest of the questions in another set of tutorial video. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to click the button on the bottom right to subscribe to the channel. And follow me at ptet.chemistry on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. See you in the next tutorial video. Thank you for watching.